Hello and welcome. Welcome to Kerry TV, your sacred space where we inspire the everyday with love, purpose and mediumship. I'm Kerry Waring, and in today's video, in today's training, we're talking about how to eliminate soul-crushing negativity from others. And you are in the right space if you feel like your family and friends don't understand who you are. You're in the right space if you are exhausted and tired from dealing with the negativity of others. And you're in the right space if you are, or if you have a soul-centered business, a soulpreneur, if you will, and you have experienced judgment, online trolls, persecution even, and especially if those people are previous clients of yours, you know, could have been colleagues, any of those experiences. If you say yes to any of those, then you're in the right space, and I'm really glad that you're here. And I really want you to know that you're not alone. You know, my own personal experience is what has inspired me to run this video training for you. You know, so how do we really grab hold of that energy? How do we take that shit and get rid of it? You know, and that's what we're here to do today. And the first thing that I want to say to you, and I'm going to cover 3 really key components that can really shift this for you, because I know that generally when you're dealing with ongoing negativity, one, it can lead you to exhaustion. It can lead you to burnout. And that's not great in life. It will have your well of giving full, and you're often at times just feeling like you can't keep going. And whether you're a parent, you know, a mum, a real giver, your primary carer for people, whether you are running a soulpreneur business, and generally soul-centered business take a lot of giving from who we are, you know, so, you know, it can lead to that kind of burnout, and that's not good for you. It can also compound any lack of self-worth that you may have, you know, and it'll just keep validating, keep compounding that lack of self-worth that you have. And that's one of the things that we're going to talk about in a minute. It'll have you keep doubting yourself. It'll have you repeating that cycle. It'll have you spiraling into your negative self-talk. And depending on how long that goes for, how long you sit in that, I know from experience it can be a real struggle to come back to your spirit, to come back to loving yourself and really shift and change that. So those experiences of negativity, you know, repetitive experiences, will have you constantly doubting yourself. And all of this will hold you back from achieving what you want to achieve in life. You know, whether it is you want to achieve peace and harmony, whether it is you've got big goals and visions and dreams for your soulpreneur business, whether it is, you know, a goal just to be happy in the life that you already have. You know, experiencing this negativity can lead to all of those things. So we're here to help shift that right now for you. And how do we do that? The first thing is, if, like me, you believe in the law of attraction and you do live your life from that space, then it's important that we know what your attraction point is, because it's in shifting that it will lessen and minimize in your life, in changing that about you and your energy. What is your attraction point? What is it about you that creates these occurrences and has this happening in your life? And I can share with you from my own experience, having had a soulpreneur business for nearly about 10 years, I think, yeah, coming up to around there. And the first evolution of my Soulpreneur business was the Australian College of Mediumship. And it was in days when I didn't have a lot of self-belief. I would experience a lot of judgment, a lot of ego from myself as much as from others. And it was my ego that was attracting those experiences. And firstly, I would experience judgment because, you know, personally, I needed to have that shone in my face that I was judging others. And as I started to break that down, and as I started to break down my own judgment of others, then I did experience less judgment from others. As I learnt to not want to be everyone's best friend, as I learnt to be more discerning about who I place my trust in, as I learnt to give and love others, but also to give and love to myself, I then started to experience less because I no longer attracted those people that were going to serve me in that way. And I would instead attract others that were serving more of my spirit and less of my ego. So, because what it does is our ego creates as much as our spirit does. So when you realize that these experiences happen to validate your ego, then when we shift and change that and break down that, then you'll find that all of that shifting occurs. And if I can just share with you, I know from experience that when you became more spiritually aware, more spiritually centered in your life, you would have experienced a shift in your friendships, in your relationships with others. It's extremely common and one of the most common questions that I get from new students. So I know you would have experienced that shift to find more like-minded people in your world, right? So think about that, because again, when you shift your consciousness again, when you shift it to go, okay, I understand what my attraction point is and I'm shifting it and I'm letting it go and I'm breaking it down, then you will experience a different shift of people leaving and coming into your life to replace them. So that cycle is necessary, and it's the law of attraction playing out in your life. So number one is to certainly identify what your attraction point, and I can tell you from experience and from my own experience and from many people that I've worked with, that a lot of that has to do with your own lack of self-belief in who you are, your own lack of self-love, and it's the ego attracting and validating that about you. So work at that, bring that down, and there's a simple way to do that, and that is to love yourself. You know, practice self-love and ask a simple soul conversation every morning, how can you love yourself today? Trust in that process and it will slowly shift for you. So point number two is, I'll just check my notes here. Yeah, point number two is to know when to act. You know, when you're in these situations where there's negativity, you're in these situations where, you know, you're probably having conflict, whether it's at home, work, in your business, online even, it doesn't really matter where it is, but any negativity often can have us experiencing conflict as we feel like we've got to stand up for ourselves, or we feel like we've got to become defensive, which is a natural occurrence and certainly part of what our ego will naturally respond with. So what I would say to you is really be conscious, be in the moment and be conscious, and choose your fights. You know, simply choose your fights. Know when to act. Know when it's important to act. Become the observer. You know, let yourself see the situation play out and sit with it before you actually decide to respond. And I say respond because try to avoid knee-jerk reactions. You know, try to avoid coming back at people. And I know that's harder to do in the moment, but it's also sometimes you can do things like go, okay, I need to think about this. I need to sit with this and think about it, and I'm going to come back to you. You can respond in that way, you know, and that gives you the freedom to take some time out to sit with what your response is. And in those moments when I'm doing that, I'm checking where my response is coming from. You know, because usually you'll find what will happen is that your ego will be the immediate response. You know, it'll be the reaction. It'll be what's coming there. But if you take some time to sit and move past that and allow some time to just gently allow that to pass, you'll find then that's when your spirit will spring forward. That's when your intuition will speak. That's when the deeper part of you will come forward if you've given it the time. And that's the time to go, okay, what would my spirit do in this instance? What would love do in this instance? How would love respond? What would love want to say? And if you're asking those questions of yourself, but it starts with giving yourself the time to do that. And so picking your fights and choosing, because sometimes love would not do anything. You know, sometimes love would let it go. Other times love will tell you to speak your truth. And always we're doing it in a way that has love and greater understanding behind it. You know, and I know when I was getting the inspiration for the idea for this webinar, I know Spirit was saying to me things like, you know, passive aggressive comments on social media are for people that have no substance. And I know that if you're watching this video when, you know, you're resonating with what I'm saying, then you have a great deal of substance. So come from that place, you know, just take your time and know when to act and know how to act and respond with love as opposed to reacting. And I think just in some of what I've said just there, a really key component to recognize is that the immediate reaction will be ego, and it's not until we move past that and let that go that the spirit will come forth with its wisdom. Okay, so that's number 2. And the third and last one is to understand the energy that you are putting into the world. I know that if you have an interest in mediumship, if you are a soulpreneur in any way, if you are intuitive, if you are spiritually aware and recognize that this universe is made up of energy, then take some responsibility and have some responsibility for the energy that we are bringing back into this world. Because all of this, how we walk, how we move through our day, the energy we walk with is contributing into this world. So in these situations, it is imperative when we're dealing with negativity that we are conscious of what happens to that energy and where it goes. And please, I'm going to share with you the secret to do that in just a minute, because it's not as hard as what you think. But I really want you to be conscious of it. And I know, like, there's a lot of psychic babble that will say, you know, you cut the cords to get rid of negativity, that you white light yourself. And to be honest with you, I think these are band-aid solutions. And I honestly think that it leaves that negativity out in the world. You know, you haven't transformed it in any way. You know, so if you're receiving it and it's being directed at you, but you are blocking it through white lighting, or you are not receiving it because you've cut a cord, it's still out there in some way. And it's still significant negative energy. So I want to share with you what the inspiration for this video training that I'm doing and how I deal with that stuff. You know, so one of the things is this webinar came about, this video training that I'm offering you and sharing with you right here came about because I received some very public but passive aggressive negativity directed at me a few months ago. And it wasn't until I realized that I had taken that energy on, you know, and I know when I was sitting, I could feel it being very paralyzing. And this was an energy that had been directed at me for quite a significant amount of time. It's from a former client. It's been 3 years since we've parted ways, but certainly I know over those period of time there's been lots of innuendo, not in my face, behind my back, of course, but it's out there. And I know that it's been out there, and my way of dealing with it just wasn't affecting me until I came face to face with it, I guess, you know. So, and my way of dealing with it was to take that energy, and transform it. And how I transform it is to not direct it at anyone specifically, to not even get caught up in where it's coming from, not even to worry about that, but to turn, what am I doing with that energy? And here is what I'm doing with it. I'm transforming it and gifting it into education. I'm gifting it into sharing what I learn from those experiences with others. And I'm giving it back in a positive and a way that's filled with love and greater understanding. And that's what I would suggest to you. That is the key to transform it. You know, so ask yourself, what are you learning in these experiences? What's the gift in these experiences for you? You know, ask yourself, what is it about you? And that will help you find, one, what your attraction point is, and then go out and share with others, whether that is with a friend who's having similar experiences over a cup of tea, whether it is you are in business and teaching and sharing with others, whether it's you do it that way, just as I am, whether you share with a group of mums, you know, it doesn't matter who you're sharing it with. All that matters is that you are, and that you're transforming that energy in some way. And therefore, it's no longer out there building negativity out in the ether, out in the collective consciousness, unattended to. It's not out there. You've transformed it into love, and you're sharing with others and making a difference. So that's a real key, and I can only impress upon you the difference that will make for you. You know, it'll make a huge difference, because what you're doing is you're not allowing it to sit with you. You're not allowing it to stay in your energy, whether you realize it's there or not. You're not taking it on in any form. In anything you're doing, you're taking the higher road and you're transferring it into love, and you're being the higher being, you know. So think about that. You know, find a way to share what you learn from that experiences. And I know some great ways to do that, and popular ways to do that are blogs. You know, even if it is a Facebook post, you know, it's all of those things. And a real key there to help you understand how to get that is to focus on the problem, not the person. You know, so as I said, like in my personal experience, this video training has come out of the fact that I experienced some negativity, and I've decided to take that energy and share what I'm learning and how to eliminate negativity in your life and what you receive from others, and how to transform that energy and give it back. And that the key is to just take it and give it to another in a positive light, in a loving light, and help others make a difference in their own lives. Okay, so essentially they're the things that we really need to do. So in summary, I'll just go over those points again, because we are here to help you eliminate soul-crushing negativity from others. You know, so the first one, as I said, was to identify your attraction point. You know, the law of attraction says that it's our alignment in vibration that will bring about those experiences and those people in our lives. And I truly believe that, and from my own experience, I know it to be true. So when you identify your attraction point, and that's the thing you change about you and your energy, you'll see a difference in your experiences, and you'll see a difference in the people in your life. So, and the key there is to look at what you are learning about yourself. Point 2 was, you know when to act. Choose your fights. You know, give yourself the time to move past the ego and come to that deeper part of who you are. You know, so choose to respond. And the key to doing that is to take the time out to sit with each experience before you react, before, you know, you allow your buttons to be pushed and you've got to go, oh, you know. So just, of course, take some time to vent. We all got girlfriends and, you know, friends and support networks for that. But your response into this situation is take some time to really come to that deeper part of who you are and respond from that. Simple question, ask yourself, what would love do? You know, second, third, so that was our second point. Our third and last point was to understand the energy that you are creating and putting out into our collective consciousness, and take some responsibility for that. And, you know, take a deeper road with it and transform it. Take that energy, take that shit, you know, and just do good with it, do great with it, you know, educate, make a difference to someone else's life, and link it to, you know, that it's that energy that you're taking and transforming. Because I can tell you, you will feel personally a whole lot better. It's an easier road than dealing with it bang on with your ego, you know. So of course, I want to thank you for sharing these few minutes with me, and I hope this information here does make a difference for you. Now, if you have any questions, then by all means, please leave your questions. You know, I'm pretty sure you can comment below this video somewhere, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Facebook as I share it, on my website, anywhere. By all means, I will, you know, if you've got questions, if you need some assistance with any personal experience, then by all means, I'm happy to help, totally. You know, also too, if you have any questions, then please, I'd be happy to answer them in an upcoming video for Kerry Waring TV. And those topics could be on living every day from a soul-centered space, mediumship, and even, if, you know, helping you with your soulpreneur business. So, yes, thank you for sharing with me, and happy working towards eliminating negativity from your life and living a more positive, flowing existence. And God bless.